Well, let us continue our general election coverage now. This morning we speak to someone who's been a member of the House of Keys for 10.5 months. He was a German commissioner. Before that, he had a political background, I think, as a councillor in Kent. He's 62 years old, married to Susie, 4 grown-up children. Good morning, Glenfaba, MHK Geoffrey Boot.
Moramai.
Moramai to you. Now, no sooner you're settling in Glenfaba than the size of your constituency more than doubles. Obviously, you're contesting a new combined seat, Glenfaba and Peel. How can you win over Peel voters? Because they're very distinctive areas, aren't they?
It is. They are distinct areas, but there is some synergy between the two. And I've already started the campaign and talking to people in Peel. A lot of people are related or have friends in Glenfaba. So, yes, they are different, but they are interestingly the same.
How can people judge your performance over the past 10 months?
It's very difficult in 10.5 months, as you rightly point out, to produce the goods, as it were. But I think in terms of what I've done in Glenfaba, I kept my promise to get the funding for the Foxdale highway improvements. That's going to cause some disruption just before the election. Not perhaps the right time.
That might help.
Yeah, but we're working on that. And I've kept in touch. I've communicated. I've taken part in debates in the House. And I've thrown myself into departmental work as well.
Let's talk about your constituency now. Glenfaba is a pretty rural, most rural constituency. Agriculture very much at the heart of it. Is government doing enough to support that industry?
Farming is going through a difficult period. There's been uncertainty with the grant changes, and the meat plant continues to be a problem. I've been to the meat plant and there are changes taking place. I think it's a strategic asset. But with Brexit, I think we have opportunities to have a look at not perhaps red meat derogation all over again on steroids, but we can perhaps use Brexit, if and when it happens, to protect some of our producers, maybe induce our local supermarket, the big one, to take more Manx produce.
Far too many people put their names forward for a prestigious and a well-paid role in Tynwald, having had no grounding in the structure of government whatsoever. What potentially makes you any different?
Well, I have 10.5 months under my belt and worked in 2 departments, done some select committee work and obviously worked with the constituents. I came from a political background. And even with that background, when I got into the Keys, it was a steep learning curve. And people who think, someone said the other day on radio, MHK should have more to do, I suggest he has a look at the CV and sees what we really do behind the scenes.
Well, you have got a business background, obviously a commercial pilot, I think you still are. It's the Seas I want to talk to you about, because you're a member of this working group, the Strategic Sea Services, and have been involved with this proposal, if you like, and advising, looking at the new user agreement proposal, helping the steam packet, I think you've said. Will you be showing as much interest for other providers who express interest?
I would love to see some other providers on the scene. I entered the Keys and beat my way to Mr. Gordon's door, and he kindly put me on the working group, and I went there with a sceptical view. In fact, I was there to go at the steam packet and change things, but having gone through the whole process, many meetings, different advisors, I came to the view that actually the steam packet is not the demon that it's painted to be, and the new offer, which includes new vessel and backup vessels, compared to the service they get in the Channel Islands, for instance, is somewhat superior.
You were a Brexiter, so what now for the island as the UK prepares to leave the EU?
Opportunities, some challenges, but I think we've had EU regulation via the UK washing over us for years. And as I found, as I've been in the Keys, with no democratic debate really on what we adopt and what we don't adopt, that will all fall when Brexit happens. We can take control, and there are opportunities there. A lot of our business is not affected. We don't do it through the EU anyway, and our arrangements with the UK for farm produce and what have you will remain. Financial services, they're worldwide. E-gaming and things like that, which are very big, are also worldwide, Asian facing in fact.
So challenges and opportunities.
Opportunities I prefer to think about.